someone
So
want to repeat that?
For those listening, Peyton threatened to kill me and put my jeans on Trove.
That's interesting.
What an interesting thought, Peyton.
No,
We talked about miking up our producers, getting more and more necessary.
Yeah, we absolutely have to mic up our producers to capture these death
you
threats.
don't think that was a that was an accurate representation?
Amy and is a podcast that explores all kinds of bookish things, and that can include some pretty adult content. So please be aware that some of this content will be not safe for work or for young ears, and be careful who's listening when you are. Hello, welcome back to Amy and. I am Amy Matthews / Amy Barry. I keep forgetting to say the second one. I really should say it because I'm never sure which one is more known or when and which one is going to be more known. So I'll say both of them. And I'm here today with Millie Heffernan.
That's me.
Justina Ashman.
Hi.
And Abby Guy.
Hi.
And we're meeting today on beautiful Ghana Yata. Another lovely sunny day on Ghana country. And I'd like to pay my respects to the elders of Ghana country, past and present, and also extend those respects to any First Nations people listening today. I want to acknowledge that these are unceded lands and to pay my respects to the traditions of the Ghana people with living traditions, and to acknowledge that their relationship with the land, sea and sky is never changing. So welcome to Ghana country. And today we're talking about zines.
Zines, zines.
It's a shorty of magazine, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Amazing. I love
This
that.
is a realization for me.
That's like
okay.
with biopic. Like people say biopic. It's like, but it's short for biographical picture.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no one says magazine. So.
Magazine.
No.
Someone
So
somewhere does,
this
I'm
is-
sure.
Get in
This
the
is
comments.
an instant tangent, but this reminds me of finding out that apparently the quote-unquote correct pronunciation of Nutella is Nutella.
No.
Even though it's not hazelnuts.
What?
Anyway.
I love hazelnuts.
Unless there's
Yeah.
newts in there.
I mean, unless I've been given misinformation online, which when has that ever happened
That
before?
doesn't happen.
Nutella. That sounds like something an American would say online.
I think it is
It's
how Americans
Nutella.
pronounce it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's magazine. Zine short for magazine rather than zine short for magazine.
Magazines.
And is
Yeah.
that because they're meant to be like magazines, or because you cut up magazines to make them?
Oh my God.
Oh, it's an and.
I mean,
That's a genuine question.
It's an and.
We should do, I guess that leads us into like what a zine is, which is
What is a zine, Justina?
like technically like a DIY publishing sort of area where, I mean, which actually makes it sound so much more, what's the word, sterile than what it actually is.
Yeah.
It's an anti-capitalist fun time.
Here, do you want me to read from How to Make a Zine by Beck
I love
Sheedy?
that.
Beck Sheedy, who is a local Adelaide zine maker.
For anyone who's listening and not watching, I'm holding up the little zine, a little folded booklet. And in here it says, what is a zine? And it says, a zine is a small, self-published work of images and text. A zine often looks like a small book you have made yourself. You can make one out of an A4 piece of paper. I'll show you how. But first we need to decide on a theme or topic for your zine. So I guess that's important is they have a topic or theme.
Yes. Oh, that zine is great because it is one that Beck gives out at the zine workshops that they run. And it's a very easy to follow guide on how to make a really simple zine out of a single sheet of paper. But I find it interesting to point out that it says often can look like a book because they don't always look like a book.
I have one here in my hands made by Gemma, also local, to my knowledge.
Yes.
And it is the shape of like one of those, what do they call these? Chatbox.
Yeah, Chatterbox.
Chatterbox.
Which we all did in primary school.
Yep, I totally did these in primary school.
And that one, because that one's very interactive. So it's called Frog of Fortune. And so the idea is that you'll eventually pick a frog that will give you a fortune.
Says fortune favours the frog.
Oh, yes.
So what we notice about them is they're crafty.
Yes.
They're really for enjoyment, play. They're sometimes quite intellectual, but it's done in a way that is low stakes maybe.
I feel like it's a real mix. They're hard to define just because they're like subject matter and even physical form varies so widely.
Yeah.
There aren't really boundaries on what can be a zine. There's a lot of e-zines that only exist digitally that often will incorporate elements of like hypertext and all kinds of different things. You know, and I've got zines in here that they don't function like books at all. Like there's one in there, which I'm not going to rummage for it now.
So Justina's gesturing towards a box of zines.
Oh, yes.
For those listening.
I've brought
episode.
my personal zine collection with me, and I am at some point in the very near future going to need a bigger box. But yeah, there's one that opens out and becomes, it's a screen printed, I guess, art piece that when you open it, it just opens even wider rather than necessarily opening like a book.
So maybe what we're thinking about is that it embraces the creativity of the thing, not just the words, like not just what you're writing, but the making of the thing.
Yeah, definitely. And there are some that are really like heavy and some that are really, a lot of them, there's a lot of overlap with life writing. A lot of people will write through, you know, experiences of trauma or write through like autobiographical comics or various other things, as well as extremely playful ones. Like this is another zine by a friend of mine called Round Zodiac, my friend Adil. And it's just the animals of the zodiac, but drawn really round.
Oh, I love it. Can I actually mine?
Incredible.
I'm a rabbit.
Just round boys.
Rabbit.
Or like
my favorite one is actually the year it is this year is the year of the horse, which is extremely cute.
Gotta love a little fat horse.
Yeah, and it's so it's like there's all kinds of there's a rabbit there.
Oh yeah, because sometimes it's the cat.
Yeah, they're just so broad.
And there's so many. I don't know if it's like something you have to tick off when you start making zines, but there are so many zines about people's cats.
Yeah.
I feel like, there's a significant crossover in people who write and people who have cats. And then it's even more so in people who create zines and people who have cats.
I love them. I'll read every single one. And I've got another silly example. Not silly, sorry. Less autobiographical example. That is called Froggery House. And it's just a scene from House, but they're frogs. And then at the end, they frog kiss. There's not a picture of that, unfortunately, but the text does say that they frog kiss. So that's for all the House fans out there.
I'll tell Gemma there needs to be a sequel. Where
they frog kiss. Just like that Muppet kiss of Kermit and whoever. Just like
They can be about anything, and including that often will be about like I kind of think of them sometimes as almost being like pop culture criticism in a very like artistic and interesting way. Like I think that
zines are very popular in fandom,
And this is one which is called A Selection of some of our favorite guys from Star Wars, which I thought I should bring just because Amy's is such a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
And it's just got, again, like it's just a range of like guys from Star Wars or like different aliens and creatures and characters from Star Wars that I think like, there's such a playful engagement with
and it's
culture.
like it's the self-published nature of it, right? Which I think no matter what a zine looks like or is about, that's the core nature of it, is that it's a self-published thing, which is why you can do a little booklet about Star Wars characters and not get in trouble, because it's like, hey, it's just my zine.
Yeah, I'm not making anything off this.
Okay,
I'm just
money
having
from
fun.
it.
The other thing is the shortness, I think. There's something about
Bite-sized.
Yeah, the bite-sizedness of it there's a real joy in that.
Do we know where zines began?
Oh, I probably should have researched that. I do think that they started as a very political thing, like alternative political pamphlets that are printed outside of, I guess, a mainstream publishing industry and distributed by hand. There's a lot of like radical origins in queer, feminist, communist, various other zines from these subcultures.
Because it does feel very speaking outside the margins, right? Like we're going to talk outside the industry. And there's an intersection. It seems like there's a pretty strong intersection between sort of creative writing and visual art. Like that's the place that it meets.
Yeah, and it's very interesting as well, I think, because there's no gatekeepers whatsoever. The idea is that anyone can make a zine with just, the materials around them and a photocopier maybe.
On our book of the month this month is not a book of the month. Do you want to tell everyone what we're doing?
We're going to be making zines. And we encourage everyone to join along and make a zine because it's really simple and really fun and there's no barrier to entry. I've had people tell me that, they would love to make a zine but they can't draw. I was like, you don't need to be able to draw to make a zine because you can, as Millie alluded to earlier, you can just collage from pictures from magazines or from all sorts of things.
And if you're making them digitally, you can just put pictures in there.
Yeah, 100%.
I did one of your workshops once, and I just did stick figures.
Yeah, which you absolutely can do. You can do whatever. So this little zine, I really love. This is another local Adelaide zine maker called Declan. It says, "This was Grandpa's paper." And so all of these zines are completely unique because he inherited like a whole bunch of like notebooks and paper from his granddad, and then screen printed and did art on them, and then folded them all up into zines. And there's like printed text. And I just thought it was the most beautiful encapsulation of grief and processing, like the death of a family member.
Also that you can, like the fact that you're there, you can touch his grandfather's paper.
Yeah.
Is like touching the grief and the life. You can touch his life.
So this isn't photocopied. This is the actual paper itself that's been drawn on and printed on.
That's beautiful.
There's something in going to, which we can get into zine fairs and the community of it, which I'd love to talk about. But there is something in then, letting go of that paper and letting other people take that paper.
Yeah. Oh, and the fact that it's not photocopied. I didn't realize that's what you were saying at first when you said they're all unique. The fact that that's the only one of those that will ever be is so special to me.
But yeah, that's not necessarily like there is drawing on it, but it's not, there's so many different ways of making it. I know there's one in here that's literally just photos of this person's dice collection, and they're just organized in color.
Yeah, I have one here that's photos of Jez Gleason, which is just them in these amazing 16th century inspired outfits. So it's just photos, but like just these amazing photos of them in costume. Amazing.
I do really feel like when we talk about like the origin of zines, I agree that they are probably political, but then also fandom in general.
Yeah, I really only know the sort of fandom history of zines. So.
Yeah.
I've not actually looked into it. I know it exists.
I mean,
I know it's crazy to interrupt, but I looked it up if you want to read it as just a section from the Kart Museum. I've highlighted the significant part, and then you could scroll up to read the title of the actual article if you like. But you're on point, basically. Everything you just said is exactly,
Oh, good. Well, it's good. I guess we didn't say anything wrong.
Producer Peyton has produced.
I think we should include all of that in there, by the way.
I'm going to read it. Zines, pronounced zines, credit their origin to the 1930s and 40s with the creation of a self-published short magazine by science fiction fans to discuss the content that they loved. These fan-made zines became widely popular in the 60s and 70s, greatly increasing visibility of the zine format. With the invention of the copy machine and copy shops, I felt like it should be coffee shops, but it's not. But weird to say, copy shops. Becoming widely available in the 1970s, the production and growth of the format expanded, and the style of zines was revamped into a more do-it-yourself style. Art and design zines trace their origins to the radical magazines created in the early 20th century that focused on Dada and surrealism, described as avant-garde zines, also known as little magazines, that were revolutionary in the art world.
There you go.
It's cool to know
Where's
that we
that
were
from?
correct about the things we were saying.
That is from Kart Museum.
From
Kart
Kart Museum, which leads brilliantly into what I was just about to say, in that it started in fandom, and we, in my opinion, because we will have just last month spoken about Spock fandom and slash fiction, and when you to look at those, like the original ones where they very began, they were like physical media, and they had artworks and stuff created by fans at the time as like the covers for them.
Physical zines that you had to ship around to everybody.
Yeah.
And also, it being slash fiction, slash fan fiction, is that because it's this DIY project, it's stuff that you can publish outside of either a commercial impulse or any other kind of like, I guess, authoritative controlling.
Yeah. And this goes back to the days when you did have to print out fan fiction and post it to people. We didn't even have not even LiveJournal. You weren't even posting on like Yahoo or like forums yet. You were having to print out fan fiction and mail it to your friend.
And I know there's a lot of digital stuff, but it does seem like a lot of the charm for me is the analog nature, that actually it is the communities you're talking about. It's the fact that you go to a zine fair, or we used to have a shop in the city. Is it still there?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
there's one in Melbourne. The Sticky Institute in Melbourne has been a very like an institute.
It's been sticky.
zines.
It's stuck. Yeah, we used to like, and it was this idea that you went and you met the artist and you swapped things and you mailed it out. And there is something kind of really delightful sitting here in 2026 about that, about getting away from this anonymous digital shielded world.
Physical media is becoming very, very popular at the moment. Like people are doing snail mail a lot now. And like a lot of artists on like TikTok and social media have started to make like actual money from sales because they're doing print. I don't know what they call them. They're like print clubs, print mail clubs. Yeah. And they create art monthly and send it out and people pay a small sum and receive a print every month. And they're actually making full businesses out of it because people want that physical media.
And I think there's also, I mean, at a zine fair, I find that there's a bit of a range, but I think zine fairs are like the best place in the world. It's just it's such an incredible space to be in. And everyone's always so open and so generous with sharing their work and talking about their work. And swapping zines is it's like an ongoing joke that, you know, at zine fairs, you're all just trading the same $5 note around because you buy a zine and then that person will take that $5 and then buy someone else's zine. It's just, that connection that you get and that community vibe is so important, I think, to zine making.
Where do you even because I wasn't even aware that zines existed until meeting yourself, which is crazy because that was like in my 20s. It feels like from the outside, it's like an underground thing. Like you just meet someone who knows about zines and then you go to a zine.
It's like a secret knock.
You have to know somebody who knows somebody about zine.
I'm trying to think of how I first heard about zines. Actually, probably would have been through Speakeasy, which was a creative writing and reading event that used to run out of Flinders. And they started a zine which would collect the written work of various Flinders creative writing students. I got involved in making zines. Probably making one of the Speakeasy zines was the first zine I ever made.
I reckon when you were a student too, there used to be a place in the city. And
yes, they did used to be
a place. They would email me and say, you know, we've got an event coming up, and I would tell the students, I would like put it up in the lecture or whatever if you're interested, go to this. Because I do remember there was quite a lot of flow between university students and those kinds of events.
And I think I had heard of fanzines, but most of the fanzines I'd encountered at that point were digital.
And the comic shops used to put zines on their counters. They'd allow people to leave the zines on the counters for people to pick up. I remember that. The
first zine fair I attended was in Melbourne, actually, because I lived in Melbourne for a few years. And then I went to the Festival of the Photocopier, which is the big zine fair that Sticky Institute runs every year, and it was just the best. I just had such a good time.
You found your people.
Yeah, it was so fun.
They sound like so much fun. I've only recently gotten into zine making because of you've introduced us to the concept. Like I knew about them, but I was like, that's not for me. I'm not an arty crafty person. It's like, no, you can. Everyone can do it. Well, and I'm like, well, now I have to make a couple of zines so I have something to swap around with when I go to a zine workshop.
Also, if you go to a zine fair, a lot of zine makers are really happy to do swaps if you have zines of your own to swap with them. You don't have to be tabling there to do swaps. So Adelaide has what I think is the best named zine fair ever, which is Xena Warrior Print Fest, which I try to go to every year, and it's genuinely, so incredible.
Can you remember the first zine you made?
Oh, I have the first zine I made.
Oh, we need to see this.
So...
Juvenalia. This
is a zine. Well, not quite Juvenalia. So
juvenile adulthood, whatever it is.
Except for how I'm perpetually a child. So this is a zine called Freshly Baked Cats that I made.
Oh, I've read this one before.
Yeah, this is the first one I ever made. I made this when I was living in Melbourne, and it's all different sketches of my housemate's cat, who I was living with at the time.
You're good at sketching.
And they...
Right? I feel like I didn't realise that Justina could do art until I saw zines and I was like, hang on, you just draw. Like, where
that looks like a real cat.
Yeah. When could you do
she's
art?
A very lovely cat. And then I was, I feel like it's a joke that a lot of cat owners will have that cats being a loaf or a bun. And I was like, how many different baked goods can
Millennium Falcon shape they
interpret our cat as? And then the back of it just says, isn't she loafly? Isn't she bundiful? And this one, my first ever zine fair that I sold zines at was at the National Young Writers Festival in Newcastle. And I signed up to be a table at the zine fair. And I made this using my uni printing like the week before the zine fair. And I think I printed 40 copies. And then I brought them and I sat at the table with my one zine in front of me. And I was like looking around at how everybody else had like these like big setups, and I just had my one zine, and I also like didn't bring any change. So I was like, I was so unprepared. And then like other people had like card scanners, and I was like, I don't have any of that.
And you're like, pay what you want.
I think I just had it flat rate as $2, which I still is basically what I price most of my zines at, which is a bit under what other people price, but it's, I feel like, a personal choice what you want to price your zines at. Yeah, I sold out. And then I remember other people at the zine fair, because the zine fair wasn't over yet. I had a couple hours left, and I was like, well, I guess I'm going. And I packed up, and they were like, why are you leaving? I was like, well, I ran out of zines. I sold out. And they're like, you sold out? And I was like, well, I had a single zine. So
And 40.
As if I would have been
one
like,
zine.
yeah, I sold out.
yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm a
losers?
sellout.
I sold out.
But I think also because it's a cat zine. One thing I've noticed is that people
yeah.
love cat zines.
I noticed I also grabbed a couple because there were
Yeah.
a couple of them, like birds and bird watching is a big one.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
I mean, this
doesn't
is...
have the person's name on it, but about pigeons.
Oh, yes. I bought that one somewhat recently. I think I bought that one at Halloween last year in Melbourne as well.
I loved it. So it starts with, this scene is dedicated to the pigeon that's taken up residence on the windowsill across from mine. He hangs out, contemplates, sleeps, and sometimes even brings a special someone home. Stories of pigeons are rarely told. Here's his story.
Cute.
And then there's another one, How to Sound Like a Bird Watcher, Pidgey Art by Pidgey Art. But I was thinking about how I was reading that bird watching is really on the rise. It's booming.
Yes, a couple of my friends are in the queer birdwatching group.
I wasn't going to say, I was going to say the queers love birds, and I feel like the queers love zines, so it makes sense to love birds.
we
and
love
birds.
stuff that's outside those minds.
Yeah, especially pigeons.
Yeah, bird watching is booming. People just like to go and chill.
People
and
just want to get out and touch grass a bit, you know, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, I'll look at some pretty birds. And
then
also
one-
we do like, not to stereotype, but a lot of us do like to count things and check lists.
Are trees a thing?
There's
I'm
a
a bit
big
obsessed
overlap
with
against the
trees.
community. Yeah.
Yeah, is anyone
I,
right
must say,
doing?
I sat at a park the other day, and there were like geese and stuff, and I was like, wow, this is nice. I'm outside.
There were
You know what I
geese.
mean?
There were geese at your local park.
They could have been geese. They were geese shaped.
There
they
were
might
birds.
have been ducks.
There
They
were
might have been ducks and
waterfowl.
not geese.
You need
They
to
were.
take a picture and send it to
They
the
were
bird
white.
watch.
Yeah, that's right.
I,
There's your
as if you
zine.
can't tell, am
Oh my
not
god!
into
And
bird
you should make a
watching.
zine about when you went to the park and saw the birds.
I
Birds.
feel
The
like your
nondescript
zine
birds.
and
The waterfowl.
It should be called Duck Duck Goose.
That's Abby's zine.
That's incredible, and it's about your journey.
Amazing.
Your journey into learning how to identify ducks and geese. I love that.
We will follow this journey.
Yeah.
With great interest.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
I was going to say I have some of my favorite zines, having only ever looked through your zine collection, Justina, are like the ones that play with form. So like the Chatterbox one, and this one I have in my hands here is the 4 stages of vet visits. It used to say 5 stages of
I
vet
feel like
visits.
this
It's
is
been
gonna be
scratched
sad.
out. No, it's funny.
Oh, thank
And it's
goodness.
in the shape, it's by Katie Gray Art, and it's in the shape of a cat carrier. It's got the little handle on it and everything for our listeners. And it folds out and shows the stages of trying to get a cat into a cat carrier,
Oh,
which
that's
if
my
you've
life.
never done, is crazy work. It's super cute. It's super, super cute. But I just like the way that it plays with the form.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
The
got one I
zine
wanted
is the
to
cat carrier.
mention as well. I've got Shadow Puppet zine, Nosferatu by Bria McCarthy. And it's got, for those listening,
Oh,
it's
that's
got
so
little
cool.
shadow puppet cutouts on each page of just, you know, Nosferatu scenes and themes. But this one is really interesting to me because you can't photocopy this. You would have to cut out the shapes on each one.
Yeah.
So that one is made by a puppeteer, and I met them at the last year's Newcastle Zine Fair, and I just thought I think I talked to them either the day before or right before the Zine Fair, and they'd mentioned puppet making. I was like, that's so cool. And then I saw them at the Zine Fair. I was like, oh my gosh, your zine is puppet.
Yeah, so it says
puppetry.
the most haunting moments from Nosferatu, the old one, 1922, transformed into shadow puppets for midnight reading. Use your mobile phone torch to project the puppets into your reading space.
That's cool.
So cool. So clever.
People are so creative. When I've been thinking about like, what am I going to do for a zine? I'm immediately like,
Anything.
Yeah,
like
you should
somebody
just-
dragons.
I get
Do something
paralyzed by the
dragons.
choice.
I'm
I
going to
think.
call it Dragons Shouldn't Talk.
Yeah.
That'll be the zine.
I got another
Just
picture
hand
of
one copy
here.
to Harry.
Yeah.
This one's a content one, but I love that it's called Charming Medieval English Names for Girls. And I'm going to choose which is your medieval name.
Yes.
Oh, they're
Be nice now. Be kind.
not fun. So this is one I'm going to give to Justina,
Okay.
and it's Scholastica.
Oh.
It's from the late 12th to the mid 14th century. I think that one is a good one. This one I'm not giving to anyone, but I'm going to read it out, and it's Maggot.
Oh, I think that's a great name.
That's so
So
funny.
good.
This is like completely irrelevant to the podcast, but when I play Baldur's Gate with my friend, we have a honor run, which if anyone knows is we expected to die within the first 5 minutes. So we made these really like insane looking characters and called them Junk and Earwig. And I'm Earwig, and we have survived really long, and so now we're stuck as Junk and Earwig.
That's always the character that lives as the joke character. Yeah, that you
And
make.
so I technically, my friend calls me Earwig. That's close to Maggot.
That's pretty
so
close. So you could be
funny.
Maggot,
I could be
maybe.
Maggot.
I was going to give you Eat It, but I would pronounce it Edit because it looks like Edit on the page. And that's from the 12th or 13th century.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's one here that's Cattle from Catherine.
Oh.
It's a nickname for women.
Cattle.
Interesting.
That would be so fun to introduce yourself. I'm Cat. It's short for cattle.
This one I'm going
yeah.
to give to myself, there's two I want. One is a lot, which is from Alice, and the other one is Cuss.
A lot of cuss, yeah.
A lot of cats.
Which is pretty good. I think I want to give this one to Millie, even though, Millie, you're not often this, but I have seen it a couple of times, which is Livid.
These are so
That's pretty
cool.
accurate, actually.
Wow, zines can be anything.
You can now refer to me as
Peyton,
Livid.
who is our producer today. Let's have a look what we'll give Peyton. I feel like it could be any number of things. There's one that's Pog. That is
Wow.
Shawnee
Okay,
and
now
Margaret.
we just need a reel of
But
all our
there's
faces
also-
with our new names.
We've got Cuss, Pog, Scholastica, Maggot, and Livid.
Beautiful.
Margaret gets Pog, but Margaret also gets Mog. So you could be Pog and Mog.
Oh, because Peyton Mog's
We're
there.
getting
These
outmogged by
books.
Peyton. Is there a Harry one?
Oh, Harry. Oh, yeah. I've got one
I
for
feel like Harry
here.
could share cuss with you as well.
Yeah, I think Harry might be Goldcorn.
Goldcorn.
I like this one. So a lot of them are like, Mog from Margaret.
Yeah.
Goldcorn, early 13th to 14th century from Goldcorn.
Somebody didn't like nicknames.
You mentioned Baldur's Gate, so I thought I should show a couple more zines of mine. These are zines that I made the night before Zine Fairs. And this one is called, instead of preparing for the Zine Fair, I played 30 hours of Baldur's Gate 3.
Can I interrupt to say Baldur's Gate is the only game I've ever played apart from Mario Kart?
It's
You played Baldur's Gate?
Yeah, long time ago. Long time
Oh,
ago.
the old
the
Baldur's
old
Gate.
Yeah, I'm talking 1990s, guys.
Right.
Yep.
Incredible.
Gotcha.
But yes, so this is all about Baldur's Gate. And then this one is about, instead of preparing for the Zine Fair, I had a dental emergency. And the thing about Zine Fairs is that people will then talk to you about the topics in your zines, which is delightful because I make zines about things I love. So I love hearing about people's Baldur's Gate playthroughs and people's cats. And then when I made this zine, I got a lot of people's dental emergency stories. And I was
It's
like,
a trauma. Like,
yeah, I was
dental
like,
is bad.
okay, dentist stuff. I didn't realize it would be that popular.
Speaking of zines that are kind of interactive, I wanted to give a special shout out to Magic and Mishaps, which is actually rules for a TTRPG.
That's also another
So
Oh,
zine
zines
that's
can
making.
also
cool.
be kind of a call to action to play.
I've actually
Yeah.
played that with friends before. I GM'd a session of Magic and Mishaps, and it is incredibly chaotic and fun and silly.
Yeah, it's got like lists of spells and all sorts of stuff in it.
Can't
so
wait till we do D&D month now and we play a game for our
Oh my
book
gosh.
club.
I have only played D&D, one round of a D&D once.
D&D month is going to spin off to an
describing
actual
it as
play.
one round of D&D is so funny.
Yeah, sorry. We did one, and then I played with a couple of friends of mine. Well, there were like 6 of
20
us.
seconds of in-game play.
And the DM was my ex-husband, and we got divorced during it. So, that didn't go so well. And then my
During
friend...
the session?
During the session.
That was the last straw.
We got divorced
Yeah.
halfway through whatever round of game or whatever it is we played. And my friend Claire and I got very competitive, and we were like doing great, and the men were not doing so great. So Dan McGuinness, my friend Dan, who also is a co-owner of Greenlight Comics and is an artist and a writer, he has no attention span and he's reckless as hell. So he would do these insane things, and then the dice would go against him, and then he'd get bored and wander off. So I don't think we even finished it because he was unconscious for most of the game. And yeah, so it was a chaos, but it was pretty amazing because everyone there was a writer. So the backstories were intense. Like people wrote novels. basically.
When we eventually do D&D month, it's going to end up with an actual play spin-off that Millie is going to have to DM.
That's why we haven't done it yet. Because once we get started, that'll be it. That'll be it. We can't just play once. We have to do a campaign. Like,
yeah, campaign. That's the word. There you go.
No, keep pulling it round. Thing, it's fine.
I think I just sound sad when we get together because I have no life, basically. So I watch no TV. I don't play games. This is like all I do is write.
And read books.
And read.
Yeah.
And
True.
talk to us.
That's why I have a book club with you guys, so I read a book a month.
Speaking
Same.
of books, I also have an example here by Margaret Killjoy, which is called Escape from Incel Island.
Great name, by the way.
Yeah.
Killjoy.
Yeah. But yeah, Escape from Incel Island. And it's actually like a little book. It's got chapters.
I love the hopefulness
It's
that we can
4
escape from it. I love that.
Yeah, it's like a little horror, and it's got little art in between. But it just kind of, I think, shows that a zine can be anything because this is a book.
Yeah, they don't even have to be
that
short.
one is also interesting because I bought that one from a zine distro or distributor. So at zine fairs, you'll have individual zine makers selling zines that they've made. And there are also zine distributors who have zines from a lot of different zine makers, especially like traveling to different cities with your zines can be really expensive. So it's like a good option on that hand. But this one was specifically a very like radical and political zine distributor. And they had so many different zines. And I found that one so interesting because it was like a fictional horror satire zine. And then there were others that are more like essays. There's one somewhere in here about like queerness in nature, queering trees in nature. And there's another one that I got from them, which is about work, our relationship to work. And they had a really interesting setup where it was like the zines weren't priced anything at all. It was like donate however much you want to the zine distro and just take whatever zines you want, which I thought was like, this is such
cool.
again, like one of the things that I find interesting about zine making is how it not just, it just disrupts the way we think about sharing like books, I guess, sharing publications and things, where the ultimate goal isn't to maximize profits.
Yeah.
And like,
sharing
what does
information
it look like?
too.
Yeah.
You know, like here just coming stories, obviously a lot of them are stories and fun, but a lot of them are also have information in them. And it's just like, here, come and pay $2 to get this little booklet of information.
Yeah.
I love that. How does, I'm just curious, how does the distributor stuff interact with the self-published nature of the zines? Like, are they literally just picking them up from authors and then taking them places? Because that's cool.
I think often it is that people will give a bunch of their zines to a zine distro to then take to a zine fair and sell on their table. Wow. And sometimes they're like collectives of people who make zines together or sell zines together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it really ranges. And like at times I've brought my friends' zines to zine fairs before that they couldn't go. I'm not a distro or a collective. But I'll say like, hey, look, if you can get me your zines by this date, or at least get me a file so I can go to Officeworks when I'm right before the zine fair, then I will sell your zine at my zine store.
But it is like that loose nature again that comes back to the self-published nature of them, is that you can do whatever you want with them.
Yeah.
You can take them and ask for $5 and you can take them and throw them into the crowd, and you can take your friends and you can sell your friends zines. And
yeah. And there is a range because there are a lot of like artists who make zines, but like art is their livelihood. So there's a level of like, sometimes I don't know, I think about pricing a lot because like often I'm like, I'm happy enough to give away my zines for free, but I'm also like really not refuse, but I sneakily will pay my friends for their zines sometimes just because I'm like, well, when the art is your livelihood, or like, I don't know, I just feel like
and
there's
also
a level of
some people,
respect.
Yeah, I'm thinking like visual artists I know who make zines, who there's a lot of like, they would put as much thought and effort into that zine as I'm putting into a whole novel. Like they are a piece of art that I would want to pay for.
I've seen some that are really expensive just because it is a visual art object. One that had like, I think it was like a paper mache egg. Oh, it was like a paper mache fried egg. You know, it's the object itself is almost like a sculptural piece of art.
I feel like that when you were talking about your friends, the one made on his grandfather's paper.
Yeah.
That is something I would go to an art gallery to see and think about. Yeah.
He is an artist as well. He works across multiple mediums, including ceramics.
Because the layers in that, of the conceptual layers in that, are so amazing.
Yeah.
But isn't it also kind of nice that you pick that up at a zine?
Yes.
Fair, and like you don't have to
Part
go
of
to
it.
a museum,
Yeah.
even though it absolutely could sit next to all sorts of art pieces. Like, yeah, but it doesn't have to.
And a lot of that art, I mean, I guess I was gesturing at complexity, but a lot of that art never started out to be there either.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like even novels, like art, the fiction we think of as hypercapitalist now. You know, like Dickens started his own magazine. He just like pumped out the installments and the stories, and he just collected stuff, and they were just pamphlets originally.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of classic, like what we would consider classic canonical authors are like originally technically self-published or published by friends or family or
passing them around. Like, you know, they might have passed their poetry around or read it to each other. Or
there's a few in here that are poetry chapbooks as well.
It does remind me a lot. I mean, I think it reminds me a lot of the poetry scene, of the way you turn up and people share stuff, and it's anti-capitalist. But then what is interesting to me about this is that intersection with visual art. Like the tactile nature of it. There's something beyond the words always. Like there's something so layered and beyond words.
Stuff in museums is kept, right? Like it's, what's the word?
Archived.
Curated?
Archived. It's archived. It's kept. Whereas these are like not necessarily archived, but they're. Then I also think like they're spread like there's so many of them, right? And so you have no idea. Like I'm holding up one of yours at the moment, Justina, about the Fast and the Furious and the gender abridged. You don't know how many people right now have a copy of your zine and are keeping it, or how many of them have gone into the trash or have been recycled. Hey, come on. I'm getting to the point. So.
If you've trashed or recycled one of my zines, please get in touch.
Peyton, our producer off camera, just made a comment about archiving. And so is this material that's meant to be archived, or are we okay with the fact that it is probably kind of ephemeral?
I mean, there are zine archives and there are zine libraries. I know the Newcastle Library has a zine collection. And I was talking to the Flinders librarians the other day, and I think they said Hallett Cove Library also has a zine collection.
Yes.
So I think it's becoming more of a thing, like libraries archiving them. It can be really difficult because obviously there's absolutely no standardization across them.
Yeah. Who
I
do
know
you archive?
It's like
What
the
do you
early,
archive?
it's like the early book.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the loss of scrolls of books.
Yeah.
And can I ask a question about that? And that's around. Yes. Thanks,
Right,
Abby.
moving
Okay,
on.
no. Okay, we'll see you next week. No, I was thinking about that question of archiving and media, and because obviously we work with performing arts people, and there's a lot of talk in the performing arts about theatre as being, you know, part of the value versus screen or other forms of media is that it's a moment, and part of the joy of being in a performance, a live performance, is it's ephemeral, it's gone. Like if you go see live music, or you're here in this moment and that is it. And I was thinking about all the photos on our cameras that we just pile up, all these photos now, and we've got them all archived. We never look at them all. But maybe there's something really valuable about, you don't know who's got your 5 zines or your 40 zines that you took to that first fair, and then it's a moment, and it is. You know, these are very vulnerable objects too, right? They degrade and they get bent and they get dog-eared and dirtied, and they're in a box in your cupboard or wherever.
It's so different. You know, there's this amazing community. And also I feel like if you couldn't make it to a zine fair, you could email someone and be like, hey, I love your zine. Could you mail me a copy? Whereas theatre I get kind of livid about. Because it's not accessible. I can't go and watch a performance. I actually can't a lot of the time watch a performance here in Adelaide. I certainly can't go and watch a performance that they only ever do in London or at the Globe or whatever. And I would pay money to even not watch a recorded version, even to watch it live streamed
They do
from
those,
my home.
don't they, in the cinema?
That I would pay for, but theatre. Not all theatre people, but a lot of theatre people don't get a little bit uppity about it. Like, no, it is about being in the audience in the moment. It's like, well, then I will never see your art. Ever.
Yeah.
There are some theatre archives, but they either, I mean, I know the National Theatre release recordings of their plays, you know, in cinema sometimes, or they recently released The Importance of Being Earnest.
Yes, they
on
do.
YouTube,
They
which
did.
was really
For a short time, I believe. Yeah.
I missed it, but anyway.
There's
I
There's
know
something
there are-
about the iterative nature too, like that you will never see the same cast or the same performance but I totally get your point.
But these as well, it's like these are not, you know, published by the equivalent of like the National Theatre. Archiving zines, I feel like, is so interesting because of the way that they are so vast and broad, and the way that the like barrier to entry is just like, I suppose, whether you have access to paper. If you decide to make them out of paper, which you don't have to. But
that's a question about archiving, is how do you preserve form? Because zines are so different, and we've got all, the one you're talking about, the fried egg, and there's the chatterbox. It's like a associate of ours, Tully, talks about this because she's involved in the digital archives. But what do you lose when you digitize something, when you archive something, but you lose the form of it, the physical form of it?
Yeah. And even something like Magic and Mishaps, like it's a game. It's meant to be played.
It's meant to be played.
It's not just something that's meant to be not interacted with.
You just got me thinking, really, with your point, which was a good point, was around what about people with vision impairment? Are there like zines for people who are visually impaired?
I'm sure there are.
There must be, right?
There must be.
Tactile.
There probably are tactile zines, or again like digital zines.
Spoken zines.
Yeah.
You can make zines with Braille, surely.
Yeah, surely.
Yeah.
I would love to see some. That would be cool.
I have a very random thought. I'm just thinking about the digitization thing and how like you would have to figure out what copyright laws would apply to zines if they're not written or whatever. But then also in like, say the usual laws apply, that means in 70 years' time your zine could be in Trove. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
7 years after your death. Sorry.
That is crazy.
So, yeah.
Did someone
So
want to
for-
repeat that?
For those listening, Peyton threatened to kill me and put my zines on Trove.
That's interesting. Oh, yeah.
What an interesting thought, Peyton.
No,
We talked about miking up our producer. It's getting more and more necessary.
Yeah, we absolutely have to mic up our producers to capture these death
you
threats.
don't think that was a that was an accurate representation? No, Payne raised a great point about digitization and copyright in archiving, and then the idea that your zine could end up on Trove one day after maybe you've become a victim of a murder. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe at the hands of said producer. Who
Maybe,
knows? Who
maybe.
knows?
But to take Abby's point, we will definitely be miking them up in future, so we have a record of these heinous threats against.
I know.
Justina's
I
life.
want
It's
it
always
in
gonna be
writing,
paid.
actually. So there's
Maybe
a
not
trail.
always. I think Harry could be murderous in the right mood.
We've already
And he
got
can't
over
defend
this
himself because he's
when
not
we did
here.
serial killers. We know who the serial killers are.
Anyway, we're going to have to wrap up because we're getting near the end of time. But we have a whole month on zines. We're going to do it all. I actually, as you were talking, getting so excited thinking about it, like I would actually love us to do it more often. Because if we're doing a topic like sci-fi or like, what are we doing later in the year? We're doing publishing. We're doing
let's all
secret
publish a book with a
Yeah.
major publisher.
Vampires.
That's a great idea.
Let's do that. But like we could do a zine about the topic.
Yeah,
it would be fun to do.
that is very fun.
And show our zines when we do our like book club.
We'll definitely have to put up a post on our Instagram about
Okay,
the easiest way to make a zine.
Yeah,
Have to
we
put up
will
some
definitely.
guides.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll definitely do a video about how to make a zine. We might actually film some of us making our zines. And then Abby says we're kind of floating this idea, so I don't want to like put it in concrete, but we'd love to like do an actual live show where we're doing a thing. If we do that, we could bring along our zines from the year and talk about like our horror zine, our dragon zine, our different zines. That would be fun.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And you can get to know more about, who is a goose spotter and who isn't.
Who knows what a goose looks
Who knows
like?
their geese?
Who's a goose spotter and who's just a silly
That's
goose?
definitely a game we have to do one day. Is like, is this a duck? Is this a goose?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and this month is very fun. Instead of reading along, you'll be making along with us. So please get out your arts and craft supplies and have a crack at making a zine. We'll put some resources up.
So please thank Scholastica, Livid and Edit for joining us today.
Thank you for hosting, Cuss.
Thank you, Cuss.
Scholastica.
Thank you for producing Pog.
Thank you, Pog.
When did we get a sponsor from Scholastic? Wow, no one told me that.
And thank you to Pog for producing us and providing some much needed content when we wandered off. And thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next week for more on Zines.
Bye.
Amy And is hosted by Amy Matthews, Abby Guy, Peyton Hogan, Justina Ashman, Harry Stewart and Lily Heffernan. This podcast is recorded on Gardenland with music by Anthony Wignall and Mass Mysterio. Our logos and branding are designed by Abby Guy. This episode was edited by Justina Ashman.
want to spin.
Yeah, I think it
I
was
said a very boring, layered, nerdy thing.
Is that not the podcast?
Only when dragons aren't involved. As soon as we bring dragons in, it's chaos.
Dragons and cowboys.
I feel like it's less to do with the topic and more to do with the day and the mood.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
This is later in the afternoon, so
we're
we're
in
kind of a bit like
mellow.
we've
This is a
eaten,
really
so we're like a
mellow-
little bit
we're
chill.
gonna like advertise it as cozy.
Cozy, yeah.
I can go. I've got a thought.